Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Okay, let me cover Peak Consult speakers because they make some pretty awesome speakers. So apparently, Peak Consult gets made in Denmark, and I'm guessing that's why a lot of people aren't buying these speakers because price and availability. We are talking insane price class here. But before we get into that, I mean, they basically do most things on a really high level. And I think some of their speakers have some dual owned technology in them. And it's just, if you are a customer with a lot of money and you have a giant room, Peak Consult is basically one of the few brands that you want to use because I'm constantly raving about, Audio Note, Martin Design, speakers, Verity speakers, and stuff like that. But a lot of those speakers don't really fit giant rooms. I mean, Audio Note, for example, they make some of the best speakers in the world. But hey, the physical mass of the speaker will be difficult to use for rooms that are 50 square meters plus. So if you're going for 50 square meters plus rooms, I mean you kind of have to look at companies like Peak Consult, simply because they just make giant speakers, and at the same time they are pretty good. I generally don't like giant speakers because I feel that they just do a lot of a lot of show quality without really having a lot of substance. But I feel that Peak Consult are one of the few exceptions to that rule, where even though they use quite a lot of drivers here, they do it in a stylish and way where everything just kind of comes together. So I think that Peak Consult generally works with a lot of different brands. Not necessarily Tube or Transistor, but just a lot of different brands. I just want to show you guys this picture here that I found. Notice the fact how far away it is from the back wall and the side walls. I mean, I find that a bit funny. I mean, you can of course do this. You can of course do this. I would just expect, even though it's so big, I would put it 1 to 2 meters close to this wall and have this gear closer. And that's probably impossible because of the space in the room. That you probably have to have a rack going up. But yeah, this is just an insane picture. I mean, it's an impressive speaker, mostly because of naturality combined with just this force, this giant force coming out of these speakers. I mean, and these speakers are pretty deep. I mean, I'm guessing, I'm not sure about this, but I'm guessing we're in the 3 to 4 foot deep speaker category. That's just insane. I mean, I don't know how much these weigh, but I mean, this is just insane sound. This is like, if you're insanely rich and you're some kind of guy who owns an oil company, and you just want the most expensive, the most heaviest speaker, and that can also play tube. I guess you'll be going with this kind of sound because this is like a custom fitted exclusive brand. This isn't a BMW speaker. They actually make pretty good sound, and the insane thing is, I'm pretty sure that we're talking about a measurement of hertz that goes down to around 15 or maybe even 12 hertz, which is insane, which kind of tells you how deep the cabinet structure really is. So that's just insane. Once you get a hertz that goes below 20, I mean, then you're into one hell of a ride. And when you get down to around 18, 17, 16, that's absolutely insane, and you shouldn't really be able to hear that. But this goes even lower. I think it goes down to about 12 or something like that. So that's just insane, absolutely insane. But would I be able to really come up with anything that's wrong about Peak Consult? I mean, the only thing is basically price and availability. and that Audio Note are basically the best ones. But Audio Note can't fill up rooms that are 50 to 100 square meters, even with their biggest speakers. I mean, they can probably fill those rooms out reasonably well, but the physical mass of the speaker kind of prevents them from doing that. So Audio is more like the optimal signature, optimal integration, optimal rare sound elements that you usually don't get. And this is more like, like, look at me, I've got a lot of money, I've got a big room, and I want to test a lot of gear on it, and it's just, impressive solely because of the dynamics and the pressure of the sound. And it's reasonably natural in sound. That's a pretty rare thing when you have a really big speaker, So those are my considerations about Peak Consult, and I mean, because of that dual-on technology that they're using, we usually have a more easygoing sound, which is also very cool. They definitely have some aspects in the sound that are really cool to listen to. I'm not a big dual-on fan, but just well done Peak Consult for making a really good speaker. And when I'm talking about Peak Consult, I'm mainly talking about the 3 or 4 biggest models that they have. I've tried the bottom models, and they're fine. They're okay, but I wouldn't consider Peak Consult a world-class brand. We're looking at the bottom models that they make. I really think that Peak Consult, it's only about the first 3 or 4 top models, and then everything else is basically in a lower class. That's my personal opinion, but great speaker manufacturer, and I wish that a lot more people, especially in the US and other parts of the world, would actually buy Peak Consult. I mean, price and availability is a huge thing that goes against Peak Consult, but it's a pity. It's really a pity, because I see so many people with their JBLs and their clips and these horns and those horns and their open baffle design and all of that, and those companies, they sell a lot more speakers than Peak Consult. Peak Consult are, I'm guessing they're only like a handful of people in the company, with the availability that they have on their products. So yeah, just wish that more people would have these speakers when they have the ultra big speakers. So very good company, very well done with their technology, and yeah, you could be interested in Verity speakers, but then you think, I want something that could fill up a room that's like 40-50 square meters plus, then you have to kind of go with Peak Consult. And yeah, I know some of you are probably gonna say, well, Verity also have their bigger speakers like Lohengrin and that really big line that they have. I mean, yeah, they also do a lot of good. Personally, I'm not a Verity Lohengrin fan. I find that the speakers are just not this class. I mean, they're good in a different way. I just find that they're a bit, the cabinet is just not, solid enough to play a giant room without it being too much. And I haven't heard, to be honest, the biggest Verity Montsalvat speaker. But knowing Verity, I am not expecting a lot from that. To me, Verity is just Verity Sarastro, Verity Amadis. Those are like the best Verity speakers you could ever buy. And for those people who just want insane amounts of middle tone pressure, you have to go with someone like Peak Consult, simply because they do a pretty good job on doing that without being too much of a fake hi-fi sound. So yeah, well done, Peak Consult. Remember to like and subscribe if you guys can. That helps me a lot. Bye.